Mike Adamski here, and going to be going over something very, very simple, but oftentimes good design is simple design. And you may have noticed before that when you've tried to load in a, say, a media piece that you've created, an articulate storyline that requires it to start playing. So oftentimes this is maybe like a video you've made, but it could be any sort of interaction that just starts when it loads. And that can create some issues because sometimes a student will load up a page in a course, and maybe that video is towards the bottom of the page or 2/3 of the way down. And what happens is, of course, the student will start hearing the video playing, they're not even seeing it, and you even see this on like different news websites and stuff that maybe don't have this set up properly. So all we're doing today is a really, really simple way to help prevent that so that the student can play the video when they get to the video. And it's a very, very simple thing. It's just adding a, as you can see here, just a icon that would allow for a play button, right? And this could be anything you wanted. So we're just going to go over the real simple process of doing this. There's a few different ways of doing it, but what I'm trying to do in this video is show you the most efficient way to do this, especially if you're copying this, say, from like one video to many other videos that you want to kind of like retrofit into this, because you can tie all of these different activities just to the icon as opposed to doing some of these manual that you would have to do if you weren't just copying the icon over. So let's jump in and take a look. So again, what we're doing here, this is just a simple video, kind of cataloged video here that has been uploaded. And before, when this was being loaded into the course, it would just start playing. But now we have a play button. And of course, that starts up our branding and it jumps into the first slide eventually. So, all we're doing is just trying to prevent it from doing this, right? Talking over me or talking over the student, trying to go through the different steps here and be able to watch this video the right way. So again, simply adding in the play button that you'll see here as soon as the screen refreshes. And the way we do that, again, just inside of Articulate, you'll open up that particular project file. And here you can see it's the video without that particular icon. So all I ever really do with this, and again, it could be anything. It could be an image. It could be anything you want. So I'm just going to type in the word play, and that's going to bring up a play button here. We're just going to go with that one, I guess. Just going to insert it, and it inserts it nice in the middle there, which is where we want it. And this is pretty easy for me because, again, I'm just putting this onto my branding page here, and that's going to keep it really straightforward because, of course, and actually that's not very centered, is it? Let's see. No, I guess it is. So, but what that's going to do, of course, is it's going to put it on the very first slide, and that's where you want that particular interaction to take place. So there are 3 different things that you want to add as triggers to this play button. The first of which is, of course, we want it to play the media, right? So, well, it's not so much play the media, but it's going to resume the timeline, right? So we're going to resume the timeline on this slide when the user clicks icon 1. Right? So that's already set up. So there's the first one. Now what we also want to do, because even though this is only there for about a half second, I want it to hide. I don't want it to hang up there, because otherwise your branding will start and you'll still see that little icon for a half second, and it just kind of looks not great. So again, we are going to change the state here this time. So change state of icon 1, and we're going to change that to hidden. Right? So that's the second thing. And again, when the user clicks, so 2 things are happening already just with the 1 click. So it's going to resume the timeline and it's also going to hide that icon. Now, here's where it can help you when you're talking about retrofitting. And I talked about this at the beginning, but the idea of the retrofitting is right now, if you had to go through and do this to say like 25 videos, which is something I had to do today, it became much quicker for me to add in the pause timeline trigger to the actual icon as opposed to the project. Now, if you started a project from scratch, you know, maybe you just pause the timeline, that's completely fine. But for me, it was a lot easier because I was able to copy and paste this icon with not just these triggers, but the third one that I'm going to be showing you here in just a second. And it saves a little bit of time here. So again, the third one that we want to do is we want to pause the timeline on this slide, and then I'll show you kind of the last part here because it's a little bit different this time. So pause the timeline on this slide when the object icon 1 enters this slide. So now by doing these three things, again, you can export it out, and what that's going to do, very, very simply, is it's going to add this play button, right? So now again, you'll see three things happening. One of them has already happened. The last trigger that we created, that paused the timeline when icon 1 enters the slide, that's happening already, right? You can see it right there on the screen. The icon shows up, it has paused my timeline. It's not playing anything yet. The other two are about to happen, right? And again, those two that we created are actually the first two. It's resume timeline on this slide, and it's changed the status of the icon on this slide to hidden. So again, when I push this, resume timeline, and it's going to hide. And there it goes. Finally, earlier I had talked about the importance, for me at least, in the situation I was in, of putting all of the different triggers on the object itself. Now, you can easily put some of these on the slide itself, right? So slide triggers, you could put pause timeline when the slide starts, and that makes perfect sense. But because I had to copy these, or I had to copy this play icon over to like 25 different videos today, just by adding this to the icon, it saves me from having to manually create this on 25 videos. Now, is that a humongous time saver? No, but it is a way that you can work more efficiently and quickly by adding these icons to, or I should say adding the triggers to the particular icon. And now all I have to do is just take this, copy it, Control-C, and then you can actually close out of this project, keep the software open, and you can open any other project that you would want to place this icon in, and it's going to carry over all of these different triggers along with it. So again, that is one really simple way that you could save a little bit of time by adding those in. So again, it's just one simple way of keeping design simple, because as I mentioned at the top, good and strong design a lot of times is simple design. It doesn't always have to be something flashy. Every YouTube video that you look at to become a better instructional designer doesn't have to be some new and flashy thing. A lot of it's just very, very simple functionality when we keep the student in mind. And it's a bit of a cliche to say, but it's so true in education, right? You need to think about, and whether it's a student or if this is instructional design work for a a training for a company, whatever it is, that the person who's interacting with this, you really have to kind of look at it through their lens. And again, it's such an obvious thing, but again, it's something that is very, very important. And again, this video is very, very straightforward and simple. So if it was helpful, give it a like. Let me know if you have questions on it. If you also have requests in any videos, let me know. But again, I'm Mike Adamski. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you next time.